Come on in, pull up a chair, and take a load off because today I'll be reviewing and paging through Delta Green, The Labyrinth from Arc Dream Publishing. So, is this tome worthy of its 2020 Gold ENnie Award for Best RPG Supplement? You're going to find out right after this. Howdy, 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 gang. Yes, I'm Jeff McAleer, back once again as your host here at the Gaming Gang channel. As I mentioned in the open, I will be reviewing and paging through The Labyrinth in just a moment. But first off, I do want to remind you, if you like this video, give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't, and if you do subscribe, ring that notification bell because it will not only let you know when I upload videos such as this, it'll also tell you when my live stream, The Daily Dope, airs right here on YouTube Monday through Thursday nights as I bring you the latest in tabletop gaming news. And of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all latest in gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. All right, we are going to be diving into Delta Green, The Labyrinth from Arc Dream Publishing. It's written by John Scott Tynes with illustrations provided by Dennis Detweiler. This 184-page tome is available in hardcover. It does carry an MSRP of $44.99. You can also score it in PDF over at Drive-Thru RPG for $19.99. And of course, the Gaming Gang is an affiliate of the One Bookshelf sites. So if you are planning on going to Drive-Thru RPG, please stop by thegaminggang.com first, click on one of our banners, and that way, if you do make a purchase at Drive-Thru RPG, we'll get a little portion of that sale, and that really does help keep us around. All right, let's swing on over to the other camera and start taking a look at Delta Green, The Labyrinth. As I mentioned, it is written by John Scott Tynes, and John Scott Tynes is actually one of the original authors of Delta Green, the original Delta Green, not this new edition here. And I do believe that this book is the first time that Mr. Tynes has returned to Delta Green, or at least to this edition of Delta Green from Arc Dream Publishing. So pretty cool, pretty cool. So we're going to dive right on in. I am going to mention that I am going to keep this pretty much spoiler free because a vast majority of this information is Game Master facing. So I don't want to ruin a lot of the surprises that are going to be in store for players as well as Game Masters when they read through these. So, or I should say the handler, right? Not the Game Master, the handler. So what we've got here is essentially different groups and organizations that can actually work as adversaries and allies to the agents, regardless if they're working for Delta Green or if they're outlaws. We do have these various different groups. So for an example, we've got the Center for the Missing Children, which is located in Chicago, Illinois. So we get a bit of the history, we get some information about the organization, operatives, what they believe in, opportunities to work with them on, as allies, important people involved with the group as well. One thing that I think is pretty cool is that each of these groups, each of these organizations are provided kind of like a life cycle for you to utilize in your adventures. So some of them may start out relatively powerful and then just kind of fade away to nothing. Others could start off as basically nothing and then become rather powerful later on. Most of these groups are not going to, I guess, survive their dealings with the agents intact, I suppose we will say. That the mythos is going to have it's going to actually get their clutches into these groups. So I thought it's pretty cool how it's pretty even as far as adversaries and allies for you to work with as well. Some of these are really creepy. I do want to point out that I'm not one of these people who's like, oh well, I got to give you a trigger warnings on this because I'm old school, right? But there are quite a few aspects of the the writing, the horror in this that might be a little much for some people out there. So I guess as we used to always kid around when we'd be watching something on PBS, when they tell you that might not be for younger or more sensitive readers, I guess we will say. So we're just going to kind of page through here. One thing I will mention is that now I got to be honest, I do not have like every Delta Green release for this latest edition, but it seems to me that some of this artwork is actually recycled. I'm not positive, but I think I've seen some of this stuff before. So that's something I do want to mention. Also, these are not like full-fledged adventures. This is not like the Complex, which is another source book from Art Dream Publishing for Delta Green, which is governmental organizations and governmental allies for the agents. Or, well, they could be adversaries as well, but they're all like government agencies. These are not. These are not necessarily government agencies at all. Some of these are just, even some of these are private individuals. Some of these are shadowy groups. The Lonely. This is one that's pretty bizarre, this group here. But I will mention too that these organizations, these groups, they hit home. I mean, they're pretty much kind of like, torn from today's headlines. So really, really nicely done by Mr. Tynes on this. And I got to be honest, I can certainly see why this did win a gold ENnie as a RPG supplement, because this is extremely well done for what it is. These are not full-fledged adventures. I wish they kind of were, but what's contained within for each of these groups is also way more than just like adventure nuggets. These can easily be slipped into an ongoing Delta Green campaign for the handler as well as the agents to kind of bump up against, maybe bump heads with, or in the case of some of these, which can be allies that can help out in various different investigations that the agents are connected with. The Prana Sodality. And right away, it'll tell the game master, okay, these are antagonists. These are not potential allies. These are antagonists. It's going to be a group that will go up against Delta Green as well as the agents. So just kind of almost finished up. Like I said, it's 184 pages here. And it is just loaded with information for the game master's use. Really nicely done. And like I said, there's important NPCs that are included as well. Talks about what is the purpose of this group? What is this organization trying to acquire or obtain? What is their game plan, their end plan, their end game, I guess I should say. And there are quite a few of these as well. I would love to see Delta Green get this new edition of Delta Green get a big major campaign along the lines of what we've seen for, say, Call of Cthulhu, and like say like Delta Green deserves its own like Masks of Nyarlathotep sort of adventure, at least in my book. All right, so that is the Labyrinth. Let's swing back over to the other camera, and I will wrap up with some final thoughts and my review score. So, as I had pointed out, for a second I was like, hey, isn't it going to change? The camera didn't change. I was like, what's going on? As I mentioned, I can easily see why this won an ENnie for Best RPG Supplement, because it is jam-packed with gameable information for the game master, for the handler in Delta Green parlance. And there's more to these organizations than just adventure nuggets as well. I like how we get kind of the life cycle of the group once the agents might be brought into the action or exposed to them. So I do like that, where, we could find that some of these just, wither up and die while others become extremely powerful. And I like that. I think that's very cool. The adventure, I shouldn't say adventure, the supplement itself really does seem to have its finger on the pulse of society today. And some of the horrors hit home. So I do want to point out, as I mentioned while we were paging through, some of this might be a little rough for more sensitive readers out there, or more sensitive gamers as well. But all in all, outside of just a quibble where it appears some of the artwork has popped up in other supplements, I could be wrong on that. I'm not positive. And honestly, I wish there was a full-fledged adventure in the book. Just one, but just one full-fledged adventure would have really, really appreciated that. Maybe even just to kind of give handlers an idea of how they would incorporate one of these groups or organizations into their campaigns. That said, I think this is a fantastic book. I think it's really, really well done. Top-notch quality. The production quality is excellent as per usual with Arc Dream Publishing. Layout's very easy to read as well. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I give Delta Green, The Labyrinth, a very, very solid 9.5 out of 10. It is that good. Even if you're not running Delta Green, if you're running any kind of like modern Call of Cthulhu or Trail of Cthulhu or any sort of Cthulhu mythos or Lovecraftian horror, add this to your collection. It will really come in handy. Really will. All right, that is it for this time out. Once again, if you like this video, please give it a quick thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. If you do subscribe, ring that notification bell, so it'll let you know when I upload videos such as this review. It'll also tell you when my live stream, The Daily Dope, airs Monday through Thursday nights right here on YouTube, as I bring you the latest in tabletop gaming news. Of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, comics, movies, TV, and a whole lot more. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. All right, so thank you very much for watching, and until next time, as I've been closing out, unfortunately, during this time of pandemic, here's hoping that you stay smart, stay safe. Oh, you're still here. Well, if that's the case, by all means, subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel by clicking right here. And of course, if you want to catch up on past episodes of The Daily Dope, check out this playlist. And if you'd like to see what YouTube's recommending you take a peek at from the channel, just give a click right over here. Of course, I'm Jeff McAleer, and once again, thank you very much for watching.